Welcome to Zafra Africa TV. I am your host for today, Fabian Okot from Kenya. Today we are honored by a special guest from Malawi, Mr. Ndawazaki Kelvin Ngwira. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you start by telling us who is Kelvin Ngwira? Tell us about your family, your origin, and your educational background.
Well, pretty much I was born in Malawi, like you mentioned, in Lilongwe. That's the capital city of Malawi, and in 1983. I think that's relevant. But yes, I pretty much did my high school there, my primary school there, and after my high school, I decided to study further, and my parents sent me to the United States. So I lived in the US for about 5 years, I think, something like that. And then after that, I wanted to further my education, so I came to Russia.
So can you tell us how life in Russia has been for you so far?
Well, so far so good, like they say, and well, I would say there's always the other side of the coin. There's advantages and disadvantages of any given place. So I wouldn't say that everything has been perfect in Russia. But overall, yes, everything has been good. Life has treated me very well in Russia. And I think that it's a country of opportunities.
Can you tell us the ups and downs exactly? No, can you specify the ups and downs?
Sure, yes. In short, during my early days of my studies here, of course, there were some issues where there were groups of people that were against other races, I should say, maybe racism a little bit. So yes, that was quite an issue in the early days. But now there's been security set by the government. So in short, it's not like that anymore, and I think that's a drawback. Another drawback could be, as a foreigner, doing business in Russia is quite difficult, I should say. Yes.
Yes. Mr. Ngwira, please tell us how you ended up in Russia.
Well, I was studying in the US for 5 years in the United States, and basically I graduated there, and I needed to continue my studies. So I was looking for a university around the world, and of course parents were helping to do that. And we came up with the idea of Russia.
And what did you study?
In the US, architectural, mechanical, drafting and design technology. Actually, I have a diploma on that. But when I came to Russia, I decided to change my career completely. I wanted to become a pilot. Yes. So
did you study piloting?
Yes. Actually, I did study as a pilot. I am a pilot. I studied at the Academy of Civil Aviation. I finished my 45 solo flight hours, and I do own a PPL license, yes.
Can you tell us vividly how life in Russia has been for you, the ups and downs?
Well, yes, sure. Life in Russia, like I think I mentioned it earlier, life in Russia is not all peaches and cream like everyone looks at it, maybe I should say. Well, it has been good and bad, in short. There has been some good aspects where things worked out very well, and there have been some bad aspects, in short, where things went really bad. So if we speak in general, life is good because basically we have everything we need, all the necessities that a person needs. You can find them in Russia. So, yes, life is good.
Can you specify of these downs you have had in Russia?
Yes, sure. There are many of them over the years. I can start from my early days as a student when I was studying. Basically, yes, we had this racism issue where people of different nations were actually shot by skinheads, maybe on the street, or you could hear some media coverages where people from the southern part of Russia have been fighting with certain groups of people. Yeah, so, but that was abolished, I should say, like 6 years ago, so it ended. Another downside I can mention is maybe on the business side. Doing business in Russia is quite difficult.
Why do you say that?
Well, there are so many aspects of the law that are difficult to understand or to comprehend. The laws in Russia are so unstable, I should say. And I think it's more because of the, I can say, the period in the 90s when there were changes happening in Russia. So there were some laws that were needed to be changed, but they were not changed completely. So in short, for example, if you try to put your head into the laws of tax payment for a business, for example, or laws of advertisement, for example, and you try to follow that according to the government rules, then you find that it is very difficult. For example, 13% tax for companies that are limited liability, like and at the end of the day, when you take away 13% of your profits, you find that you're remaining with pretty much not so much. Yes.
Now, on the business side, I've heard that you are the founder and an active member of the Roundtable English School.
Sure.
In Russia. So, what motivated you to start this institution?
Well, when I was studying as a student, I had a part-time job, and I was teaching English in different schools, different private schools. I had my private students. And then when I graduated and I finished my university, I took that a little bit serious, basically because I couldn't find a job. I was in a little bit of a dilemma because my knowledge is in Russian and in English, so it's split up. And of course, the jobs that were offered to me that time were very far from St. Petersburg in cold regions. So I decided to pick up the teaching thing and make it more serious. So in short, my first language school was called Express English. And it was pretty much an experiment because I'm not a businessman by nature, and I never studied business. So, well, it went very well for a year actually, and after that I had to close it. So like I mentioned, there are some problems with tax issues in Russia. So it was actually because of that, and the business was shut down. But after it was shut down, I decided not to give up and open a new business, still teach English. So yes, so that's where the idea of Roundtable English came up, pretty much, yes.
So what are you doing with your piloting license?
Well, basically, after I graduated, I joined a club on Nevsky, which is a main street here. And there's an aviation club for people, in Russian they say lubiteli, people who just fly for fun. In short. So of course it did touch me after graduating that I cannot put my skills into use, in short. Yeah, so I joined this club and we were flying over St. Petersburg, taking tourists who were willing to fly on small aircrafts like, for example, Cessna or An-2. Actually, my license is more linked to An-2. And yes, we did fly. But then later on, of course, I gave up on that a little bit. And then, so how do I keep my skills steady? Well, I fly in flight simulator sometimes. And next year, I have another plan. Next year, I'm planning to go back to this club. Apparently, this time they have more newer aircraft and they know me, they're friends. So, well, I'll get connected with them and hopefully I'll, keep flying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And about your life in Russia, are you married? Are you...
Yes, sure. I'm married. I have 2 children. One is 10 years old now, and my youngest daughter is 5.
Congratulations.
Yes, and yes, I'm married to a Russian woman.
For how long?
For 10 years now. Actually, we'll be having our anniversary soon. Yes, so 10 years.
Поздравляю.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any advice for young African men who aspire to start a business of any kind or any futuristic projects in Russia, and can you tell us the do's and don'ts?
Yes, sure. The Russian environment is an environment of opportunity if you know where to look. If you look in the right direction, then you will find yourself going up a ladder that you might look back later and say, wow. Yes, in short. But yes, especially these days, the new government, or I shouldn't say new, but I should say the government itself has implemented some tools to help new businesses, in short. So if we talk in terms of business. So they are really effective. There's credits out for startups, and there's a lot of slack on the law. I mentioned tax earlier. Now there are a few changes that have been made to make this easier, and I think that's good. Yeah, so it is a land of opportunity. Yes.
And so what inspires you and
what motivates me, maybe?
Every day?
Well, every day is, I can say, success and progress. I'm that type of person who, if I don't see any success or any progress in something, then I will not engage myself in that for a very long time. So there has been some steps forward, if we talk in terms of my business. A lot of things that keep motivating me. So when I see a little progress here, I say, aha, so I need to push forward. So so basically that's what drives me. Yeah, pretty much.
So can you tell us more about your institution?
Yes, sure. Roundtable English was originally created to deal with corporate clients only. So we did not have, well, it's called Roundtable English School, or actually Education Center, but we don't necessarily have an actual school. Well, we didn't at that time, I should say, yes. So we were dealing with only companies, and so far we have so many corporate clients. I can say about 5 of them, very huge companies. So we're talking about Vascord, for example, which is a company that deals with logistics of very huge shipment containers all over Russia, or companies like Streamer, which is an energy company, which they're building devices that protect lightning stands, and they are an international company. Yeah, so these are really, really huge organizations, and the idea when I founded the school was to work with them. So which means we're teaching their employees, maybe even their clients, and through them. And only now, recently, I have decided to kind of make it into a normal school. So yes, I found a place on Varshavskaya, and I have incorporated English. Now I've incorporated French in it, and hired some teachers, and created some groups. So pretty much that is what RT English is today. Yeah, it is still undergoing development, and hopefully I might end up having branches all over the city.
And how can people find your information about the school? Do you have a site?
Yes, sure. Roundtable English recently opened, like I mentioned. That before my business was Express English, and I had to change the name because of the tax issues that I went through. So I started from ground up with my experience. In short, yes, we have a site, rtenglish.ru. Okay, well, if you visit it, you might find that it's not yet complete, yes, because it's still undergoing development, creation. Yes, but you can find us in Instagram, which is also a recent thing. Of contact, you can find a lot of information about RT English. We actually have a group which has about 300 participants so far, and there might be more soon. Yeah, so in short, or you can visit us on Varshavskaya 94, and I'm sure that the woman there will be very happy to tell you more about Roundtable English. Yes.
So thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Kelvin. Thank you for sparing your time to be with us. Thank you for your partnership with Diaspora Africa TV. I would also like to acknowledge our sponsors, League of Self-Defense, Sunao, Metisage Barbershop, Metisage Event, and our new partner, Roundtable English. Stay tuned to Diaspora Africa, Pride of the Continent, and again, thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Kelvin.
My pleasure.
It was an honor to have you.
Thank you.